That's better. That's better. That's better. Everything seems to be working now. All right. I will tell you what happened after we get rolling here. Right. So, maize seed. That's what we were doing. Maize seed. Is everything good? I think it is. Yes. And we have audio now. Do we? Yes, we do. Fantastic. All right. Sorry about that. I have a new microphone. I plugged the new microphone in, and I kept getting all these pop-ups saying, do you want to use this as your new microphone? Yeah, I do. And then, unbeknownst to me, one of those that popped up said, do you want to use this as your output device? No, of course I don't. That doesn't make any sense. Right, so where were we? We're going to plant corn with the Corn King. We're going to work our way through the tutorials because there's a lot to learn about this game. A lot more than I thought there was. So I think it's only fair to give the game a full opportunity, right? And not try to play it like other games or sims that we're used to, because I don't think it's like games or sims that we're used to. So we need to, I don't know, sort of see it for what it is. And I think I've done this mission before. I think I did this way back in early access. Right, so we're going to stop here and set the brake. We do want to get in the right place. So we want this set to seed unit. Okay, and then we do want maize kernel seed. Okay. And now this is going in. All right. Yeah, what I've noticed, and like I said, if we get up near the farmhouse, I want to show you the soil chemistry system. I've never seen anything as comprehensive as that. And how do I want to say this? Be careful what you wish for, I guess, because it looks so comprehensive. It's going to go from being not necessarily too easy. Make sure the brake is off here. But by comparison, like when I think back to the soil mod for FS15, I want to say there was NPK, but if your field was low in one, deficient in one, you just applied the one that it was deficient in. All right, versus this setup where, again, we'll head up to the farmhouse and I'll show you, but there are so many different kinds of fertilizer, and they all have different characteristics for nitrogen, phosphate, and potassium. There's moisture in the soil. It's just unbelievably comprehensive in a really, really good way. And you know, something I've learned in life, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to make mistakes. And you know, I did get very, very frustrated with this sim along the way. And it is by no means perfect. What I was realizing when I was playing yesterday is it's not really visually immersive, right? It's not, I mean, if I was comparing this to a race sim, you have something like Project Cars 2, which is incredibly visually immersive, but not super, super realistic. And then you have something like R Factor 2, which is really not visually immersive at all, but has unbelievable physics and tire modeling. I would say this sim is the latter. It may not be a lot to look at, and it certainly doesn't run smooth on a lot of people's systems, and yeah, but you know what, we're just going to go with that, because what it does have is a level of complexity for farming that we've all been asking for. I mean, I've been hearing people ask for it for 5 years. I've been hearing people say since FS 2015, you know, why can't there be weeds? Why can't there be, when you make hay, why can't it be more than just driving through a field and flipping grass over? Why can't it have this? Why can't it have that? Well, this is the sim that has all those things. So I'm, in that way, really pleased with it. I'm a bit perplexed, I have to say, that the developers did not make more of these things known. I think if they had made more of these things known, if if people had known sort of what was coming or what to expect, maybe it would have helped to control some of the not bad press. I don't know that we want to call it that necessarily. And I'm going to set the brake here. I need to check one thing. I'll be right back. Yep, we're all good there. Okay. Just make sure everything's running. So we're going to fold out the implements, which we do with X. Okay, we're going to drive to the field. Before we drive to the field, this game has onboard GPS or a guidance system, and that looks like this. And so we'll do just a couple things to get this set up properly. So we're going to slide this over here just a little bit. All right, I think we're lined up with the edge of the field. We're going to slide that over, and we will auto track, and then we're going to turn this off. And something that I really like about the way this is set up is it's persistent. So we're going to back up right now, and we don't have to reset it. As soon as we get lined up, jackknife, as soon as we get lined up back in a lane, right, like you can see right there, it hopped over. So we'll go from that lane to this lane, and as soon as we pull into this lane, that is the guidance steering doing that. I didn't put it back on course, it did that itself. So as long as you leave it on, it will continue to track to a course. All right, so get in here, drive to the field, can do that. All right, lower the implements and then turn them on. Is that how it's done in real life? Do you lower and then turn on, or do you turn on and then lower? And then something else that we have, I'll bump that one time, and this takes us to about 7 kilometers per hour for cruise control, and that seems to adjust itself based on the implement that you have, which I really like as well, because it's got us set right now to the appropriate speed. Moment, please. Damn it, man. What was I just saying? There you go. I don't necessarily know what the proper speed for a given implement is, but if it sets it up for you automatically, you're always going as fast as you can, right? Get the most efficiency from the daylight hours that you have without going so fast that the equipment doesn't work properly. So I'm just a lot of little details like that, a little what would we call those? Quality of life details that I'm really, really appreciating. And like I said, the game, I don't know that it's ever going to be visually as stunning as, I don't know, other games and sims that we play or that we have access to. But I don't think that it needs to be if the gameplay itself is as comprehensive as this is beginning to seem like. All right, and now I have another question for real farmers. So we've got the cultivator up front, right? And then we've got the actual seeder in the back. When we get to the edge of the field, when do we lift? Right? Because we want to seed all the way to the edge, do we not? Suspend your disbelief. There we go. Turn off seeder. All right. And then raise implements. Now hopefully when we make our turn here, we stay on guidance steering. Yep, looks like we're back on course. And I'll check that as we get into the field. Yeah, it's still on. So turn into the second track. We did that. Lower the implements. Turn on the seeder. I'm okay with the physics in the tractors. They do feel like they have a nice weight to them. They don't feel like they have a lot of roll to them. They don't really lean at all, and they don't feel like they have a lot of suspension. Again, in the grand scheme of things, if those are the sorts of details that the developers had to forego to get the game done, I mean, I know it's been really, really late, but you'll get what I mean when I say this. If that's what they had to forego to get the game done as quickly as they did, okay, you know, it's not the end of the world. But I would like to feel a little bit more, the tractors kind of handle like they're on rails. It feels like you can take any turn at any speed you want and there's no possibility of rolling. I would like to see a little bit more roll and a little bit more active suspension, but we'll get to that at some point. We don't need to be there right away. Also, I'm really surprised that there are no dynamic hoses. That is not, I mean, they don't really need to invent that. They just need to use it. I mean, we've already got that from plenty of other mods and games. Okay, so we want to, they say turn off first and then lift. So we're going to use the seed heat map in the field menu to check on the progress of the sowing or to find any areas you may have missed that need reworking. Okay, so we'll go here. We'll go to the fields. We'll go to fields that we own. And now when we go down here, right, we can see this area. Yeah, I mean, it did leave a little bit that we didn't see down at the bottom and a little bit at the top when we lifted. So I'm curious, I guess we could take care of that with a headland? Maybe? Unknown. Unknown. All right. That's all you need to know about seeding with seeder combinations. You can carry on and finish sowing the field or skip this step and see the results. Let's skip and continue moving. So we're going to go up here now to skip. Time passes. There we are. End tutorial. And there's our corn growing. Fantastic. All right. Next tutorial, grain and field grass 1. You got it. And I'm going to have some water. I'm gonna choke on some water. Yeah, I apologize. Oh, this is a Friday. It's all going tits up on us, right? This tutorial is about sowing grain, or more specifically, sowing summer wheat. As with all seed types, you get summer wheat from the co-op in Albertal, and it is sown in spring between February and March. Today, the sowing will be done with a Power Harrow drill combo consisting of a Lemken Zircon 8 and a Lemken Sapphire 7. So we'll click that, get rid of that, hop out here. Yep, that's one of my favorite seeders from Farm Sim World. Fantastic. Engine is on, brake is off. We're going to head over here. Yeah, the tractors do feel like they have some weight to them, but they also feel like, I don't know, like you can take any turn at any speed. I haven't rolled a tractor yet. I haven't even come close. Okay, so we will set the brake, and we're going to select wheat. Is that correct? Select wheat. Start filling. This is nice also. Things seem to happen pretty slowly, and I do like that. I do like that something like this, like filling up this seeder, it's not just instantly full. It does make you wait a little bit. All right, so we'll turn that off. Brake is back off. Drive to field 4-6, you got it. Oh, I need to show you something else when we get out there. And in fact, let me do it here before we even get there. So I talk about this wheel a lot. I love this wheel, and I really wish that it was present in other types of sims. Essentially, as you go side to side with your pad on your controller, in my case, it moves to everything that you have on. So if we, let me see, if we turn this way, yeah, this would be the most representative. So we go from the weight all the way to the left, the tractor itself, then the power harrow, and then the seeding unit on the back. And then for each of these, we've got all these things that we can do. So we can open the cover, right? We can unfold the ladder, and so on for all of these. So if we go back here, right, we've got more options. And then within the tractor itself, we've got multiple pages. It's a really elegant and simple way to put a tremendous number of controls into a very compact area, and also not have like 1 million button combos. So really, really well done. And again, that is that is something that frankly I'm going to miss it when I'm in other sims, because it is so well done and it is so powerful. But there are plenty of times when, wait a minute, when you're sort of hunting through button combos and you don't really want to be, you know, just whatever it is you want to do, just let me do my thing, rather than fishing around for keyboard commands or some elaborate macro on your gamepad. So it's a really good solution. But I wanted to show you all the additional functions of the seeder. It seems like everything in this game is animated, and I guess that's the reason why I'm a little disappointed that we don't have dynamic hose. It's not that big a deal. It doesn't impact gameplay in any way, but it is something I'd like to see. I don't know, just for the immersion. But like I was saying earlier, you know, the mechanics of farming are so well represented. I think that's going to be where our immersion comes from. All right. Back this way. I was not going to do these tutorials, and I was a little bit put off that I was going to have to do these tutorials. And in hindsight, I mean, there is a sandbox mode. You don't have to do this. You can just hop right in and do whatever you want. But I'm glad that I didn't know that at the time, and sort of found myself forced into these tutorials, because they're showing me things that I don't think I would have noticed otherwise or picked up on otherwise. I mean, maybe in time I would have figured them out, but I'd rather do it this way. All right. Get right over here. Also a question for real farmers. Do you drive through grass like this to get to a field? Are these fields representative of like how fields really are in real life, or is this a bit stylized? All right. So we go here, and let's get rid of this. Yep, let's get rid of that first, and let's set the brake. When I opened that other menu, it's like it deactivated my controls. All right, so we want this lined up right with the edge of the field, like that, like that. I think this is going to be our winner right there. If this goes in 1 degree increments, maybe that's it right there. I suspect this is not going to be perfect, so we'll just get as close as we can. All right, about in there somewhere, or there. Does that work? No. All right, let's not mess with this all day. So we'll get rid of that. Right, brake is off. Let's back up a little bit. Pull forward again. Yep, still tracking. So fold out the implements. Let me see. Now this is saying X. Okay, so that lowers the seed unit. All right, still good there. Drive to the field. So to turn both these on, we'll go back to our wheel, go here, turn on, get rid of that, lower, and then cruise control. Yeah, now here you can see, did it do it again? I'm not clear on why that's happening. It's happened twice now. but it's taking us off guidance steering. Maybe, no, I don't know why it is. All right, so turn this back on. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's taking us off. Okay, that's good. Lower. Cruise control. Here we go. So looking down at the lower right-hand side, looking at the HUD, our cruise control speed is now, when we were using the Corn King, it was about 7.5 kilometers per hour. Now it's closer to 6.5. So as far as I know, that does adjust itself based on the implement you're using. And that is a really nice detail. Because, I mean, in time you would, I guess, just know them. You would just know them. But for now, I don't know what the speed of some of this equipment is, what's recommended for it. So to have that in there automatically is very nice. Yeah, a lot of little details. And it's not, I mean, I have to stress, it's not a bad looking game. It's just an old looking game. And that is, we're fussy as gamers. We have very high expectations as gamers. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, hang on, let's go here and here. And four-wheel drive is on. Four-wheel drive is off. I think it's on. Yeah, because we're throwing up dirt from the front wheels. Okay. It's not a bad looking game. It's just not, it doesn't look the way that I expected it would look after it came out of early access. All right, so we're going to see the first track. Done that. Stuff right here. Turn off Zircon 8. Okay. Turn into the second track. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing something that's causing the field guidance system to deactivate, but I don't know what that is. All right, it's still active right now. So we'll pull right in here. Turn the Zircon 8 on. Physics. What in the world? Yeah, I don't know what's happening right now. A lot of sliding right there. Not sure why. And are we still tracking? We seem to be. Yeah, we are. Yeah, little stuff like that. Not a deal breaker by any means. And I hope that with the involvement of UIG and with the game going into full release, that they can, the developers can get a little working capital, you know, get a couple bucks in their pocket, a couple euros, and pay some salaries and take the pressure off so they can continue working on the game and finishing it. Now, I did read one of the developers had said optimization is going to be something they focus on over the next little while, so I look forward to that. And when I read through the threads, what I see over and over is people saying the gameplay's fine if you turn the graphics way down. And that's, yeah, that's kind of a given. It's supposed to be that way. The problem that other people have is, you know, it's great that you can play the game at low settings on a low-end system. The problem people have is you can't play the game at high-end settings on a high-end system. I mean, you can. It'll just play really, really slowly. And what I've found is I don't see any difference in the way the game looks between high and ultra. So I'll go high. Unfortunately, I also don't see much of a difference in my frame rate. All right, so we'll set the brake here. Use the seed heat map in the field menu. Okay, so this is what we did last tutorial for corn. We're just doing it for wheat now. We'll go to owned fields, field 4.6, and we want to go down here, and that's showing the area that we worked on right there. Okay. That's all you need to know about seeding with this seeder combination. All right. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. So we are going to pivot this around. Yeah, camera, easy. Switch off the combination. Fold in the combination. All right. brake is off and we're going to drive to the farm. I have been seeing, well, you'll see what we're about to do is go unload the seed. Now every crop has a specific seed, which is different than the Farm Simulator franchise where you have seed generic and then you select what it represents after it's in the seeder or the planter. In cattle and crops, every seed is different. I really like that. And as was finally added to 19, but people have been asking for a long time, you can take seed and I imagine fertilizer as well, although I haven't done it yet. You can take things out of implements. And I think that's a great feature to have. For one thing, if all of the seeds are specific, then you would have to have that. Because otherwise, right, if you had a certain type of seed in an implement and you wanted to plant a different crop, you just couldn't. So we need to be able to take the seed out. But also over the winter, I know you take everything out of equipment that's not being used, you clean it, you get it set up, right? You do things to keep it intact over the winter, but you certainly don't let it sit full of seed or fertilizer or slurry or anything else. So those, again, little quality of life details, right, that are really, I think, going to make this, well, they're going to make it slow. This is going to be a very slow sim to play, and I'm okay with that. One of my, I'm reluctant to call it a complaint because I do love the Farm Simulator franchise, the Giants Farm Sim franchise. I do really enjoy it, and so I don't want to say that it's a complaint, but the reason I run seasons and more realistic and gearbox and anything else that I can think of to make the sim more realistic is I feel like it's a little too fast. It's a little too easy, and it can feel sometimes like you're just painting fields. This sim is not going to be painting fields by any means. This is going to be, I never thought that I would need to do math to play a farm sim, but we will be. And you know what, I'm going to park this tractor before we unload. I'm going to park the tractor and go in and show you our PC on the desk in there and some of the chemistry that we have access to. Let me show you that, because I suspect that as soon as I unload this and finish the tutorial, it's going to relocate us somewhere we won't be at the farm. So let's do this now while we're here. I mean, we'll be back at the farm in time, of course, but I do want to show this to you. Working through those chemistry tutorials earlier today, and when I say chemistry, it's a video game. It's not, you know, it's not college level or anything. I'm not implying that it's nothing that a regular person couldn't get a handle on, but I was really not expecting it to be as in-depth as it is. Let's carefully, don't run over the dog. Oh, I've been noticing a delay. There was a delay between my audio, between my game audio, game video, and my microphone audio. And I could not figure out what that was. I thought maybe the game was rendering the visual frames more slowly than they were rendering the audio. Oh. But it turns out I had, for some reason, and I don't know why, I had set a delay on my microphone. So it was about 2 seconds behind. It was close enough that it stayed mostly in sync, but not entirely. So I did eliminate that, and hopefully everything is synced up now. Okay. So this is our PC, and these are the fertilizers that we have access to, right? So this is just nitrogen, the UAN28, just nitrogen, right? All three, but in different numbers, right? So these numbers are changing for every different type of fertilizer. And so what you do is, you look at your fields, and I think we don't own any fields. Oh yeah, we do, we own this one, okay. So looking at a field, this was actually pretty good, but if it was low, so like, let's say it had low phosphate, we would want to find fertilizer that was primarily phosphate or entirely phosphate. And the, the tricky part of the chemistry for me is when you get into, when everything is deficient in a different amount, what you're trying to do is find one fertilizer that can fulfill all those needs in one pass. And not exactly, it's not exactly easy. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Fried Fluctuation, that is a fantastic screen name. Are there a lot of different tractors and vehicles in the game? I will show you right now. At the moment, I think there are 4 tractors. There's a little Klaus, a big Klaus, a Deutzfahr, and an MB track right there. There are quite a few implements, but the game does support modding. So I suspect that there are going to be a lot of mods added. I hope there are. I know some have been, but the game is just coming into full retail release right now. So I suspect that as it gains more popularity and as it stabilizes a little bit, right? Because if you're making mods for a game that's in early access and something changes radically, all the work you put into that mod no longer applies, and you either have to do it again or it was just wasted time. So there's good equipment in here now, and I anticipate there will be more. That would be the best way I can answer that. All right, and yeah, so that is the, oh, and I ran out of there. But you can also calculate, this is something else that I've really wanted for a long time in Farm Simulator. You can calculate how much fertilizer you have to buy for a field. And that is, it's one of those things that until it's there, you don't really realize how much you're missing it. I mean, I've already been missing it. I've really wanted there to be a way to know how much do I put in here. It's okay to have a little bit left over. I just don't want to have a lot left over and have to store it, and that's money tied up as well. So we'll go right in here now. Set the brake. And we're going to go to start unloading, right? And then if we pivot over carefully, you can see down there, every 40 liters or so we get another sack. All right, I'm going to try to drink water without choking myself. I apologize for that earlier. Very unprofessional, I know. But I'm trying to hydrate more, particularly when I'm doing longer streams, so bear with me. All right, and we've got 655 kilograms, or 771 liters. Oh, that's interesting. I just noticed that. There's volume and there's also weight. Oh, the details. Well, and now that makes me wonder. There's another fantastic screen name, Hank Kerchief. Yes, success. Well, depends on what you're referring to. Yes, the game is in full retail release, and yes, we got the audio working. So that you could be referring to either one of those things or possibly something else. All right. Yeah, I like this slow pace right now, that you don't just hit a button and instantly 1,000 liters of fertilizer pops out into a pallet. Oh, so it was the third thing. Yeah, I was able to drink water. It's 2020, man. I'll take success where I can find it. All right, and I believe when this is done, that's going to complete the tutorial, and we'll just hop into the next one. Now, if we get enough of these done, I mean, we've got enough of them done right now that we could do one of the scenarios, and the scenario unlocks equipment. So we can't buy a high horsepower tractor until we complete a scenario. And I don't remember which one it is, but it's one of them. Are you talking about the SciTech panel? All right, let's see what happened to the wheat we sowed. Time passes. All right, let me hop in the chat here. Yeah, if you're talking about the Logitech, the SciTech panel, I don't know. Is the game steering wheel friendly? Mason B, as far as I understand, right now it is not steering wheel friendly. Yeah, Fusion, unknown at this point. There may be a thread on that. If you hop on the Steam store and go to the discussions and just do a search for SciTech, there might be some information there. As far as I know, the SciTech panel is, yeah, you can just make that generic axis, can you not? If you can, that would make it compatible. Unknown though. All right, so we've completed fieldwork. Fantastic. Fertilization basics. All right, I hope we get another. I hope we get another fertilizer tutorial because those are fun. And doing head math is it's not my strength. All right. Pausing, loading, crashing. I'm on an Xbox gamepad on PC right now. I'm on a Razer Wolverine, and it works just fine. I haven't. The only thing that I've configured is I added a button combo for the shuttle to go from forward to reverse gears. But other than that, I'm using all the in-game settings, and it's working just fine. No problems at all. Okay, this tutorial provides a general overview of fertilization. Learn how to see the status of your fields, which fertilizer to choose for your field, and how to calculate spread rates. Perfect. This is. I was hoping there were more of these because I did want you to see this. All right. All right. Fertilizers are especially effective on plant growth, specific target range, right? Most fertilizers contain nitrogen, phosphate, potassium, and then they need different requirements. For example, field grass ideally needs approximately 300 kilograms of potassium per hectare. Wheat only needs approximately 160 kilograms per hectare. These requirements are listed in the field menu. There are various types of fertilizer which differ in their consistency and spreading method, right? Different fertilizer types also have different ingredients. With artificial fertilizers, you can even specifically bump up 1 or 2 of the NPK levels. Yep. First, let's look at a field and its current land values. This is done in the field menu. So that's right here, and right here, and right here. Okay. So is this the one we're looking at? Field 18. There we go. Okay, so maize will be grown in this field, so we'll select maize. And I don't know if you caught that down here, but these bars moved a little bit. So that is, like for every crop, it's going to be different, right? Everything moves around. So we'll go back to maize. Maize, I said. We'll go back to maize. And the growth factors contain all the key information. The quantity on the bar shows the average across the whole field. If you have already planted a crop, the crop reference is set automatically. However, as we haven't planted anything yet, we need to set the reference ourselves. So when I saw this yesterday, I read it too quickly. I thought it said fruit preference. I thought this was the game recommending what we should put in that field. It's fruit reference. And by adjusting this, we're going to change these values, right? Well, more accurately, we're going to change these values, and that will affect these bars. Right, so we go here then. Throughout their growing season, plants consume the nutrients in the soil and then convert them into biomass, right? You should ensure that the plants have sufficient nutrients for their entire growth cycle with 1 or 2 doses of fertilizer. You got it. All right, the marker indicates the respective quantity of each nutrient in the field. The further into the green area it is, the better the plants will grow. Avoid adding too few nutrients to the field, however, or you will have to fertilize frequency. All right, continue. As with other field properties, fertilizer can be viewed using a heat map of the field. For this, activate the eye. There we go. After a short calculation period, the map will show you the current nutrient status. All right. This means you always have an overview of the quantity you have spread. Let me know in the chat. Are you into this at all? I love this stuff. The current status of the field says we have on average 50 kilograms of nitrogen, 20 kilograms of phosphate, and 50 kilograms of potassium per hectare, right? If we look at the crop reference for maize, the quantity of fertilizer in the field is much too low, right? We need 195 kilograms of nitrogen, 86 kilograms of phosphate, and 193 kilograms of potassium. If we now subtract the fertilization present in the field from the expected values, we need 145 kilograms of nitrogen, 66 kilograms of phosphate, and 143 kilograms of potassium per hectare still needed. So we're going to need to find a fertilizer that has approximately this balance if we want to finish this field and do it in one pass. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've really been wanting this in Farm Sim. Well, I've been wanting this in a farming simulator. It doesn't have to be in the Farm Sim franchise. I've just wanted this. So I'm really happy to see that somebody has put it in there. Overcord, it is on sale for 10% off till the 22nd, I think. It's 23 bucks, 23 US, well worth getting. I would definitely recommend it. It's been through some rough times, and I have not always been that positive about the sim, but as of right now, it's not the prettiest thing I've ever played, but I would recommend it for 23 bucks. Right, we now know how much fertilizer we still need in the field, so the aim is to spread the missing amounts of nitrogen, phosphate, and potassium. A suitable fertilizer that contains approximately the required proportions in the missing quantities should be selected. For this, we consult the fertilizer calculator. Good grief. All right, so here we are. Perfect. Back at our computer. All right. Fertilizer calculator is used to calculate the quantity required for the target NPK levels. As previously calculated, we are missing approximately 145, 66, 143. The quantities, therefore, roughly follow a ratio of 5 to 2 to 5. So we should look for a fertilizer with that approximate ratio. Handkerchief, it sounds like at the moment steering wheels are not supported. My recommendation would be either hop on the Master Brain Discord or check in Steam. But from what I'm seeing at the moment, steering wheels are not supported. And since we want to fertilize the field with farm-produced fertilizer, we have a few different fertilizers to choose from. Let's look at, all right, okay, so we go here. Okay. This corresponds roughly to a ratio of 2 to 1.5 to 0. Does not fit our needs. Okay. Scroll left once to BGP digestate. Okay. This is 6 to 3 to 5, so we are close to the 5 to 2 to 5 ratio. Go one fertilizer left again, right? And this is 0.48, 0.22, 0.54, right? That is 5 to 2 to 5. Okay, cool. Good for you, man. Yeah, I prefer a gamepad for Farm Sim for this one, for the other one, but that's awesome if your wheel is working. Good deal, man. To achieve the desired quantities of around 145 kilograms, 6,643, output rate must be increased to approximately 30,000 kilograms per hectare, right? So we'll take this up to the 10,000, right? And then we'll make this 30,000. Okay. And now this is telling us how much we need to buy. I've always wanted this. I just want to know how much to buy. All right. Now we know the fertilizer type and spread rate. The machine can be set and spreading can begin. Here we go. All right, so we're going to X out of that. We're going to hop out here, right? Open the radial menu. That's right here. Go to the booms, right? And then we go here, and then we're going to set the spread rate to 30,000. And we do that here. All right, that might be kind of small. The number is right on the rear wheel of the tractor. All right, then we turn the slurry wagon on. Okay, so that's on. Close the radial menu. Fertilize the first lane. You know what? I think we can skip field guidance for this and just wing it. Now, do we want this up or down? That's up, that's down. All right, here we go. And we are, yep, our quantity is going down in the bar there, so we are using fertilizer. Okay. Yeah, overcord, there are, as soon as we get done with this tutorial, I'll show you, there's some, I guess there are some basic tutorials, and each of those unlocks different certificates, and then the certificates unlock scenarios, and then the scenarios will unlock that equipment. But there is also, it looks like a sandbox mode where you can just hop straight in and do whatever you want. I'm trying to keep a straight line here and also read chat. Okay, sorting out steering wheels. You know what? I can take a look. When we get done with this tutorial, I've got my Thrustmaster plugged in. I just don't use it for Farm Sim. But let me take a look and see if it recognizes it. All right, so that is right there. I'm going to lift this and turn it off, and then we're going to go to the field menu. Okay, that's here. If you now look at both the NPK levels and the nitrogen heat map, the rise in the average value is clearly visible. So we'll go here, we'll go here, we'll go here, and here, here. Okay. So wait, I'm not clear on what colors I'm seeing here. So do these represent... Oh, okay, only one can be on at a time. Okay, I think green is what we're after. So for this one, we've got light green representing the area we want to be moving toward. And then this is still no good, right? This one, yeah, dark blue, we're looking for light green. And then over here, the entire field is green. Okay, I think I see what we're doing here. Okay. Slurry was a good match for the maize field. It may be that there's no perfect fertilizer for a fields ratio. When this happens, you sometimes have to fertilize multiple times with different fertilizer types. Super. In the following example, our field has a nitrogen and phosphate deficit, but additional potassium is not needed. All right, open the field menu. Look at the current average levels for the field. Nitrogen and phosphate are both in the low range. That's, is it this one? Which one are we looking at? Is it this one again? I think it's this. Oh, it's, okay, it's this one. All right. 70 and 75. All right. So if we close this, we're back at the house. Yeah, I think you might have to do the tutorials. I think you might have to. And, you know, I don't want to speak for the developers, but I get the feeling they put a lot of work into this, and they're going to make you, you know what I mean? They're going to make you see every bit of it. So if you do the sandbox, I imagine you would have access to the tractors, but I don't know if they would fully be unlocked, if that makes sense. All right, we will select a nitrogen phosphate mineral fertilizer. So we want NP 1227 granular. NP 1227 granular. There it is. 27% phosphate. Okay. Adjust this quantity. So we'll back this down again to the tens. Wait, we'll do this first. We'll take this down to 0. Then we'll back this down to the tens. And then we'll make this 75. I'm sorry, 280. 280, okay. So we take this up to 280, right? Yeah, I would like to see the colors match up to what you've got going on in that other grid out to the left. If they correspond, that would be a lot easier to sort out. Okay. So now we've got to combine. We have some nitrogen, but not enough. So now we need a second fertilizer to add in here, specifically for nitrogen. Select UAN28 urea. Okay. Set a quantity of 100 kilograms to achieve the desired 35 kilograms of nitrogen. God. I don't know what it's going to be like to do this without this little window up here helping out. This is complicated, man. The total of the two fertilizer types, therefore, brings us to our target nitrogen and phosphate quantities. Golly. Okay. So turn that off. We're going to hop out here. Open the radial menu. Yes. Switch here. Spread rate of 275. All right. 275. There's 275. Turn on the fertilizer spreader. Okay. Close the radial menu. Brake is off. Fertilize the first track. Here we go. Fluctuation, you went and bought it. Let me know what you think of it. I am, well, like I said when I first started the video, you know, visually, it is what it is. The delays, it is what it is. But I think ultimately this is going to be the very mechanical farming simulator that I've been wanting for a long time. An actual farming simulator more than a farming game. Overcord, thanks for stopping by, my friend. Take care. We'll see you soon. Yeah, the complexity of it is, it's exactly what I've been looking for. And we're not even done with the tutorials yet. We still need to get into moisture. I need to figure out how to make hay, which from what I remember from the early access is not an easy process. I've never done any baling in this. Now, I did see, I mean, there were big complaints about the AI in this game going way back, going back to early access. Early access, early late access. There have been a lot of complaints about the AI. In one of the tutorials, we put a driver in class Jaguar, and we put another driver in the Deutz-Fahr with a grain cart on the back. We're going to send them both out to the field. The class managed to make it out of the yard. The Deutz-Fahr, the driver, immediately drove into the fuel pump and was just sitting there with their tires spinning. And I've been seeing that from the AI for 2 years, 3 years. And that would be in a tutorial. You know, that's a little disheartening to me. But it's not a deal breaker. It's just something I'd like to see sorted out. Okay, now we also want to spread the liquid fertilizer on the field. The spread rate should be set again, just like for the fertilizer spreader. So we'll open the radial menu. We'll go to here, and we want this set to 100 kilograms per hectare. 100, I said. This is tricky to do on a gamepad. All right, and we go up here. We turn this on, close the radial menu, break off, cruise control on. Here we go. That kicked us over just a little bit. I haven't seen any way to make tram lines yet, but with the terrain deformation, I think it could be that they just form themselves. That you don't need to create artificial tram lines, you just need to drive your tractor in the field to fertilize and do various things, and that will cause the tram lines. All right, so take a look back here. Yeah, I like the adaptive cruise control that goes to the appropriate speed of the implement. Are we going to clear this tree? We certainly are. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I've like forgotten about Farm Sim. I haven't spent a lot of time in FS17 over the past few weeks. I've been playing a lot of other sims, a lot of flight sim and etc. But I don't think you really can go too fast. I mean, it's like there's a maximum speed, but in this sim, if you go too fast, it stops working. So if we were cultivating or something and you drove too fast, the areas that you drove too fast over would not be cultivated. And I think that's, you know what I mean? That's a better system to me. It does warn you, but I like the idea that it's like you're punished by your bad behavior and not necessarily for your bad behavior. So the incentive for you to drive at the appropriate speed is, if you don't drive at the appropriate speed, your field's all messed up. But in terms of, you know, the game limiting you to a certain speed, you can go as fast as you want, you just won't get a good result. All right, so we'll go here, we'll turn this off. All right, and that's done now. So we'll X out of that. All right, this tutorial, okay, so next is bull slurry, all right? Loading. How fast did it load? Is it done already? I was gonna have another drink of water. Maybe? Yeah, I think I still got a second. Stand by. All right, how to fill it from the slurry store in your barn and how to spread the slurry on the field. All right, so let's X out of this. All right, like so. There we go. Interesting. The tractor was not accelerating until it finished the, I don't know, not the animation, but I guess the cycle of it starting up. Got to let that work its way all the way through. Okay, so we go back here. Oh, you know what? While we're here, let me show you something else. You can also, if you want to, tell you what, let me pull forward again. So we'll come right up here and we'll set the brake, and then if we open the wheel, interesting, Mason B. I don't know if that's actually represented in the game, and those things are what results from fertilizing in certain ways. It'd be very cool if it was. Let me see, we want rear 3-point hitch. That's that. Store front arms. What are we looking for here? Up and down? No. I'm looking to get those arms out of the way in the back, but I don't think I can. All right. So we'll back this thing up. Right about there. We're going to set the brake. We're going to hop out, go first person. And you can also do this. From outside, you can hook things up like that, which would be manual coupling, manual attaching from Farm Sim. Yeah, a little bit disappointed about the dynamic hose. Hopefully that's something that's added at a later date, because I do like that. All right. So we go here, brake is off. We're going to back up a little bit more. Really? It's got to be right in the center, huh? All right. All right, game. Just right in the center, huh? Put that there. There we go. Drive to the barn pump. You got it. There are some mods already available on Mod Hoster, and I just found this out. I didn't know this, but the person that owns Mod Hoster is one of the devs of this game. So I would suspect that Mod Hoster may become, in the same way that Giants has the Mod Hub, I suspect Mod Hoster may be the place to go to get the most legit mods for this game. All right, so we'll come right in here. Stop right about here. We're going to set the brake. I wanted to show you this as well. Nope, 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 nope. Come back, come back. Fold up. That's not what we want. Fat finger. Pretend you didn't see that. Didn't even happen. Yeah, I've left all the controls to default. And so I've got some of my muscle memory from Farm Sim, and I fat finger this game quite a bit. It's not normally that bad. All right, so we'll get lined up back where we were, like it never happened, right? Put it back in gear, set the brake. We're gonna hop out, go first person, and it's the, what's the hose mod? What's the hose mod? The Wobster hose mod for Farm Sim, right? We've got these things here. So fasten, unfasten hose, open, close, seal. There's nothing corresponding over here, but I feel like in the early access there was, and perhaps that's not in the game at the moment. But I know there used to be a way to do that stuff sort of manually. Right, so we'll go over here, and we're going to start the filling process with bull slurry. So that's there, and then right there. And so let me pivot all around. All right, so it hooked the hose up to the other side. That works. Yeah, I like the realism of the slower loading process. I feel like it's going to take a little while for my brain to get used to the fact that this is a lot slower, right? But that's what we've been saying for years now is I don't just want to paint fields. You know, I don't just want things to pop in and out. I want it to feel like I'm actually doing something. And these little wait periods makes it feel like I'm doing something. What happened? What did happen? Did something happen? No. I got a preview on. Everything seems to be working okay. Did it cut out after that? Are we not streaming? What's going on? Yeah, Fusion, as far as I know, the stream is still up. Ah, I got you. I thought you were saying I don't see anything. Like you can't see the stream. Okay. So we want this off and we're pulling forward. Yeah, you didn't see anything. All right, and this is now, I mean, yeah, I feel that weight. And this is a great big tractor too. This 9 series cloths, which is no lightweight. And you can definitely feel the weight of, what did we put in here, 18,000 liters. All right, we're going to drive to field 13, which it said was behind us and now says is in front of us, and it's behind us again. We'll get turned around here. Oh yeah, it'll let us go this way too. Okay. The reason I run more realistic in Farm Sim is I don't want tractors that feel like go-karts. You know, I do want to actually feel the weight. And I'm feeling some weight right now. This has a nice feeling to it. All right, so we'll go right up here. I did buy one field in my profile. I could just start again. We haven't really done anything yet. So I might start that profile again and maybe rent equipment to start with. All right. So we pull right in here. And again, I'm not going to mess with field guidance. It's a small enough field. I don't think it's super critical. Okay, now we're going to fold out the booms. There we go. Yep, there is. It's it works. Okay, open the radial menu. So we want to go over to the booms now and set the spread rate to 35,000 kilograms per hectare. And we do that here. And then we want to turn on, fertilize the first track. So we'll close that. Those are down. Here we go. Yeah, there's that active cruise control again. This time it's putting us up near 15 kilometers per hour. So it seems to adapt to any implement that you have on. And there's our terrain deformation too. I assume that everybody's familiar with that aspect of the game, the 3D terrain. If you're not, I'll hop out and show it to you before we move on here. Right there, so we're going to turn that off. Okay, let me set the brake here and hop out. If you're not familiar with this aspect of the game, we do have proper 3D terrain. This is not a painted on texture or fake shadows or anything. This is like actual deformed terrain. Sound is, it's good. It's not great. If it's low, I can bump it up a little bit. If it's hard for you to hear the game, I can bring the volume in. And I think we can just end it right there. Yep. Continue. Okay. So we're going to go over here. Right. Third person, raise the booms. Brake is off. Turn into the second track. Here we go. So right in here. All right. Turn on the slurry wagon. All right. Lower. Here we go. Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's I think it's a big deal and something they're really proud of, and for that reason maybe they've exaggerated it a little bit. From what I know about farming, the small amount that I know about farming just as a citizen, not as a farmer, but if your fields were that soft, you really wouldn't want to be driving in them. right, turn off the slurry wagon. Okay. Next, optional tutorial, pellet fertilization. All right. This is part, okay. Next tutorial, so we want this pellet fertilization. Yes? Okay. I feel like if the developers could have communicated some of the things that I'm seeing in the game over the past couple days that I've played it, I feel like if they could have communicated that better, they may have avoided a little bit of the drama of the past 18 months. Right, various different types of artificial fertilizer, granulated fertilizer. Right, our field currently has a phosphate deficiency and we urgently need to refertilize. N and K are good, so we need a fertilizer with high phosphate and low nitrogen and potassium. Triple superphosphate P46 is a good match. You know, I thought it would be. All right, so we're going to hop outside, up on the curb like a lunatic. Here we go. Drive to the fertilizer boxes. I don't know how many fertilizer types there are. I think I counted about a dozen, which is, that's going to be something to sort out, man. It really is, particularly when every crop has different, where's my, there it is. I was getting no dialog box. All right, we want triple superphosphate P46. Triple superphosphate P46. We need 1,000 liters of it. So we will only get 1,000 liters. We don't have to guess and we don't have to fill the thing, so we have enough. And you know, the thing is, it's not a bad looking game. I have to stress that. It's not a bad looking game by any means. And our frame rate has been, I don't think we've gone below about 30 FPS today. If you're playing on a current generation console, you could be playing at 30 FPS, like every game and every sim that you play, you're at 30 FPS. PC Master Race, we get a little bit, I don't know, goofy about it. It's got to be 60, it's got to be 120, but there's nothing wrong with 30 FPS steady. As long as you're not stuttering or having really bad chug or freezes or anything, there's nothing wrong with 30 FPS, and we're well above that. And and I've run the game on both high and ultra settings. It doesn't look bad. I guess it just doesn't look as good as you would think a game could look in 2020. But, you know, you know what the Buddha says about expectations. They're the gateway to disappointment. The less you expect, the happier you are. So, you know, the game is, I think, just as a standalone. And this is my example of a lot of things. If the game just dropped out of the sky today and we had never heard anything about it, I would be blown away. I would think this is an amazing game. But because of the expectations and all the things that have happened the past couple of years, right? All the baggage, it's something different. But no, it's not a bad looking game. I mean, I don't find this town to be super immersive. But again, when you're working with limited resources, if you have a crew that you can commit to figuring out soil chemistry, or a crew that you can commit to figuring out like how to make the houses look great, obviously you're going to focus on the soil chemistry. It's not a house simulator. It's a, well, I don't want to call it a farming simulator because somebody else uses that name, but it's a sim designed to let us experience the mechanics of farming. So yeah, you want the houses to look good, but I don't know that you'd necessarily want to commit a ton of resources to that. That's just common sense. I saw a comment on one of the Steam discussions, and they said that the crew that Rockstar Games had working on Arthur Morgan's beard is bigger than this entire company, right? So that's, I think, a good indication of how carefully you have to allocate your resources when your resources are limited. A farm simulation game. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate because the other franchise is Farming Simulator, but I feel like in comparison, that is a farming game. And this is the one that is a farming simulator. So, I mean, cattle and crops is good. I'm in marketing. I like it. It's got a nice ring to it. It's memorable. But this, even just a couple days in, this feels like more of a farming simulation than Farming Simulator ever has, which is not to say that I don't like Farm Sim or I'm over it or it's a bad game or anything like that. Absolutely not. But this is what I've always wanted a farming simulator to be. Okay, open the radial menu. Go to the fertilizer spreader. Set the spread rate to 350. 350 I said. 350. And then, God, now we got to adjust the width. There's so many details in this game. I love it. Set the working width to 30 meters. Perfect. Okay, and then that lines up our field guidance system. So let's do this first, because I think it's going to move us in and out of some menus. Let's go here first. So we go right there, drive to the field. Okay. Before we get in there, let's turn this on. So we'll go back here and right there. Drive to the field. Right. Yep, and we've got a different adaptive cruise control speed already set. Perfect. Yeah, this feels like the biggest question I have, and I don't think I'm going to be able to answer that question until I've played through a couple of in-game years, is how forgiving is the economy, right? Because in the Farming Simulator franchise, you can just bail out with silage anytime you want. Even if you're running seasons, even if you're running the hard economy setting, all you ever need to do is get a few 100,000 liters of silage going and you're done, right? You've solved all your money problems. And I'm curious if it's going to be the same way here. You know, I don't know how much a farmer makes in a year. I know, turn off. There we go. I don't know how much money a farmer makes in a year, gross or profit, but I'm really curious if, sir, oh, he wants that field guidance. I'm really curious if making mistakes or not doing things properly with the way that you handle your money is just going to prevent you from ever being profitable, or if not fertilizing your crops just right. Turn that on. Like, you'll still have a yield, but you won't have enough yield to be profitable. And I would, with the level of detail that seems to be involved in the, I don't know, the logistics of farming, as detailed as it seems so far, it would not surprise me if it was just about impossible to make money in this game. But I kind of like that, right? I would like to play a farm sim where you don't have that silage ripcord anytime you need it, that you can just make a few $100,000, a few €100,000. So I suspect that as I get deeper into it, it is going to be very, very difficult to make money. I can't see why the economy would not be balanced as well as everything else seems to be balanced. All right, so we'll get down here. All right. Turn off the axis. Stop right here. Okay. Let's skip the last few tracks and see the effect the fertilization actually has on the growth of the plants. Time passes. There you go. All right, and we need this. Drive to the farm. Okay, so we will, I assume, put this back on the pallets. this way. Now, something else that I'm curious about is, so UIG Toplitz, I know they were involved with Professional Farmer, because when whatever they did with Master Brains, whether they invested, whether they bought them, who knows, but now that's part of the name, right? It's Professional Farmer Cattle and Crops. So the affiliation is there now. But Professional Farmer, and I think they may have been involved in Farmer's Dynasty as well. Don't quote me on that, I could be wrong. But Professional Farmer was not really a realistic sim at all. It wasn't even a good game. So I'm curious how Cattle and Crops feels that this is going to go, because this is such a realistic and sort of demanding sim game niche. I mean, it does have a sandbox mode, but it looks like something that's going to take quite a bit of time to get into and get good at. And you compare it to something like Professional Farmer, which was more or less just a fun kind of silly game, as a lot of the farming simulations are, other than the Farm Sim franchise. They're really just kind of fun games, right? Put a roof on your house, take vegetables to the widow, you know, it's very lighthearted. So I'm curious how they think the marketing, I guess, is going to go for this game, because it is a serious game. It's very slow paced. It's got a lot of math in it. And I'm curious how people that are more familiar with more casual games, how they're going to feel about this. I think the serious Farm Sim crowd is going to love it, but more casual players, unknown at this point. All right, let's do a couple more of these, and I think what I'm going to do is, where are we at? We're coming up on 90 minutes. Let's do this. We'll do a few more tutorials, and then I will finish the rest of them off camera, because we've seen fertilizer now, we've seen some seeding. Yeah, we've seen various things. So let's keep working through these. Oh, interesting. We go where now? Drive to the fertilizer store in the hall. Interesting. So we do have fertilizer on the farm? Apparently we do. Okay. So let's back right up here. Right. Set the brake. And like so. And then we're going to, right? I'm curious if this represents kind of a generic pile, right? So we're putting triple superphosphate P46 in it right now. Does that mean we can only pick up our 848 kilograms of super triple phosphate? Or is it any fertilizer that we want? To use the stored fertilizer later, you can put it back into the fertilizer spreader. Did I say that right? Fertilizer spreader later using either your tractor's front loader or the loading pipe in the hall. Okay. Next tutorial, liquid fertilizer. Here we go. Yeah, there's 51 of these. I thought that was excessive, and I was a little bit put off by it. Let me just buy a damn tractor and get to farming. But I'm glad that I'm doing this, because I would have missed quite a bit. I really had no idea about a lot of the details on this stuff. Okay, drive to the fertilizer tank at the harbor. Okay, so we'll start up. Brake is off. Here we go. I mean, I guess in time I would have figured it out by trial and error, but whether I figured it out or not, initially I think I would be missing out on a big part of the game, which is the depth, I guess, like how complicated it is. I would have been missing out on that. There is an MB track. Well, I mean, it's a German sim. It's a German crew that made it, so you gotta have an MB track. And you can buy this tractor when you start your profile. You can buy this tractor for like 35 grand. So of course I bought one. Okay, start loading process. The maximum load quantity is set. Reduce the quantity to approximately 480 liters. And then start the transfer. And this is what we want, is it not? It didn't tell us what we want, but it's already dialed in here. So let's just go with it. UAN 28. Okay. Yep, that's what we want. I like an MB track. I like a Unimog too. Big fan. All right, drive to the field. And it says, I guess we go around here. Drive back through the port carefully. We go right here. And then out here. Yeah, Unimogs are a riot. They are, they're just such a ridiculous vehicle. They're so over the top in every possible way. They have like 15 horsepower and 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. Is it foot-pounds or pound-feet? I always reverse that. I'm a little bit dyslexic. Like, not being silly or anything. I'm straight up a little bit dyslexic. I always get stuff like that backwards. It's one of the reasons I hate math so much. All right, so we're going down this way. And now those markers, I don't mind them. We've got the blue line on the mini map showing us where we need to go. Those markers up top, I don't know if we can take those out in gameplay settings. They're not super immersion breaking. You know, they're not ruining anything, but like in Train Sim, I would prefer to not have things like that on the horizon. So it's possible there's a setting to get rid of those, and in future episodes we will take those out. But for now, I don't mind them. Yeah, giant wheels on a Unimog, I mean, they're top heavy to begin with. And then you lift it a little bit, put some big tires on it. Madness. All right. Yeah, so again, no tram lines to speak of. But I'm curious when we get done with this field if we will not have made some tram lines. All right, so we come right around here, right about like so. Drive to the field. Okay. Oh, this feels wrong. This feels really, really wrong. All right. All right, here we go. You know what? It's just a tutorial. All right, open the radial menu. Set the spread rate to 400 kilograms per hectare. All right, like so. Fold out the sprayer, which we can also do from the Wonder Wheel. All right. And it does give us sort of automatically, it gives us the field guidance. So let's turn this on right there. Right. Lower the booms. That's going to be Y. That is Y. At least on my gamepad it is. Add then what? Turn on. I feel like we're doing something wrong here. Lower the booms. The booms are down. Are we meant to adjust them? Or do they want us to do it from here? Yeah, I think they want us to do it from here. Yep. Okay. Whoa. Activate slope compensation. Game. I love you. All right. Activate slope compensation. Turn on the sprayer. Close the menu. Drive along the first track. And did it turn off? Nope, it's still on. Okay. So we'll go here and then there. And this will drop our boom on the uphill side and raise our boom on the downhill side. The details, man. The details are amazing. I'm curious if this has selective cutoff as well. Oh, and there are our tram lines. Yep, we are certainly making them. And you know what? They're, for lack of a better word, they are real tram lines. So yeah, nothing to complain about there. And that slope compensation, does that function automatically, or is that something we need to adjust periodically? Unknown at this time. All right. I feel like every one of these tutorials has had a really unexpected surprise. Very cool. All right. Now, these bushes did not used to have collision. And they still don't. Turn into the second track. I don't know how you would handle this in real life. I don't know if you would have things growing that close to this, oh dear. Whether you would have things growing that close to the side of a field. Because if you did, it would seem like it would make turns really, really difficult. But I know that you do want some wildlife and trees and bushes and that sort of thing around fields because it brings in animals and animals help crops grow. Something like that. I think I read that somewhere. But the proximity of the trees and bushes to the edges of the field in this game, and then that they don't have collision on them, I'm not sure what the purpose is. And I'm not being an ass when I say that. Like, I don't know if we're meant to drive around them, but they left the collision off so it wouldn't be just a huge pain in the ass, or if they're just decorative. Unknown at this time, but like when we got to the end of that length, I'm really not sure what we could have done down there other than either drive through the bush with no collision or back up onto the field and try to swing it around in like a 3-point turn. So not sure how that's meant to operate. And I'm really curious to see what third-party mod maps look like for this game and how long it's going to take for somebody to make one. All right, and how we doing? We got about 200 liters left. Also curious to see how accurate these calculations are. Right, that we put, what, 480 liters in here based on the size of the field. All right, well, maybe we won't get a chance to see. All right, so we'll turn that off. There we go. Skip the next step. We will do that. Skip right there. We have now completed the certificate fertilizing. Next tutorial, thresh grain. Let's do it. Have I done any harvesting? I've done it in the early access, but I have not done any since it went retail yesterday. Not even in a tutorial. I couldn't do it in my profile because I couldn't even get a crop in the ground. I couldn't do anything. I didn't have the equipment for it. And I didn't, again, in hindsight, I'm glad that I didn't because I really didn't know what I was doing. But this will be the first harvesting that I've done. Threshing, as they call it. Right. In this tutorial, you will drive a combine harvester, the Tucano 570, and a Claas Vario 930 cutter. That is, oh God, header trailer. Let's see how they do. Get into the combine harvester. You got it. Let's see how they handle the this particular hurdle. All right, here we go. Brake is off. Let's pull forward here. Try to swing over just a little bit. All right, now, I'm curious about something. Can we drop this? Nope, fat finger. You did, perfect timing. Okay, so if we go here, unloading auger, residue spreader, transport position. Okay, so this is going to open. Okay, this is to open and close the tank. Okay. This is to, that's the transport position for the straw spreader. Okay. This is activate or deactivate the straw spreader. This is the pipe. Okay, so as far as I know, I mean, is there? Extend, retract GPS? What? Steering console height? Wheel chocks? Game, you're killing me here. That's lighting. Okay, I don't see any way to raise or lower, what would this be called here? I don't know, the attachment that it mounts onto. I don't see any way to lower that, so I think the header is just going to snap into place on it. It's not going to be super realistic or immersive. Not a big deal. I was just curious if there was another way to do it. All right, the cutter bar is quite big. You can't drive on the road like that. No, I really can't. It is transported to the field using a cutter bar trolley. Lift the cutter bar onto the trailer and uncouple it. I'm so nervous right now. This is like my nemesis. All right, and this is raise lower reel. We go here. Okay, I was looking for a way that we could bring in those lasers on the end, but I think they extend automatically. Wally. Yep, I did the headland tutorial yesterday, and I need to figure out if the field guidance system calculates that automatically, or if that's something that you just sort of, I don't know, estimate, or if there's a way that you can have it calculate all that out. All right, now I'm trying to center this right in here. Now this is one of the worst aspects of the Farming Simulator franchise. We all know this. Header trailers are, ugh. So I'm really curious how they handle this, and whether it's going to, sorry about the camera, whether it's going to snap on there, whether it's just going to sit on there, whether we can attach it. Okay, it looks like it definitely makes that into a single item, so I don't think there's going to be any sliding around. Very cool. I've always wondered why Giants doesn't do exactly that. That you've got, essentially you have two cutter trailers. One is empty, and one has a cutter welded to the top of it. And what makes it switch from one to the other is whether or not you attach or detach it from the combine harvester. Let's do something else while we're here. I'm going to put this back in gear. I'm going to set the brake. I'm going to hop out. I'm going to go first person. Now that seems a bit off. Let's see if we can get under here and do this. Can we? Yep. Yeah, it's a nice little detail. Oh, they did do in a Platinum Edition? Platinum Edition for 19? Okay, drive to field 21, and that is going to be, I think we're going to have to make a big loop in this parking lot, because I don't see us backing this thing up successfully. Okay, good. They've needed to do that for a long time. That's in, okay. Yep, I never got Platinum 19. I stopped playing 19 before it came out. Or did I? Is Platinum 19 the Colossus DLC? I did get the Colossus DLC. Maybe that was the Platinum. I don't remember now. When I think of Platinum, I always think of the that South American map for 17. And I don't remember there being a map in the Colossus DLC. So to me, that it's like I sort of blank that it's the Platinum. All right. Okay. You know, it's so frustrating for me. The header trailers are so frustrating for me that I would rather harvest a field with the little like 4-meter header on the New Holland TX, just because I can drive it through gates and I don't have to mess with header trailers. Yeah, they really need to do that. And the fact that there's not even a way to strap them down with the orange ratchet straps, that they just kind of float around, and even if you can somehow get it on there and it feels like it's in the right place, go around a bend and it for me it's worse when it like turns sideways on the trailer and there's really nothing you can do. I would almost rather it just falls off and I can reset it. But for it to turn sideways and just hang there like, oh, maybe if I don't move, maybe if I stop driving, everything will be fine. And it never is. All right, drive to field 21. Where do we want to park this thing? How about right here? How about right there? That's where they want it. All right, detach the cutter bar trolley. I'm just going to cut it loose that way. I'm not going to crawl under there. But I do like that it does have manual attaching in base game. I suspect that a lot of the modders that were involved in making Cattle and Crops, because they are all modders, are they not? I want to say they're all big-time farm sim modders. I feel like so many of the things that you see in this game are extensions of mods that they made for farm sim. Okay, so we're going to back it up then. Interesting. It set the brake when we put the header on. I've got the parking brake on manual at the moment. Yeah, agreed. Too frustrating. All right, so then we're gonna pull forward right about here. We do have lasers. Okay, turn on the combine harvester work mode. Before we do that, let's go here because what do we have here? Residue spreader. Oh, look at this. We can extend our GPS. Oh, it's fantastic. Who is this? Who's beeping at me? What? What is happening right now? Okay, the combine harvester has some elements that, all right, need to be activated. Open the tank, right? Oh, that is uncalled for. All right, we're going to get our first opportunity to see how well the AI works. Oh, God. Enough with the horn, with the beeping. Let's turn this on right here. Turn this off. Turn on the threshing system, A. Okay, lower the cutter bar, and that's going to be Y. Or do we have to do it? That is Y. Okay. To create turning space in the field, we usually drive once or twice. We usually drive once or twice around the field while threshing, thus creating a headland. Okay. Let's do it. And I think it kicked us off of auto steering on the field guidance, so I'm just going to do it manually. Yeah, that's, I mean, I like the effect on the field after we pass over it, but that's not Maybe not the best animation I've ever seen. Not the end of the world. All right, and what is our... Where'd they go? All right. Now, as I recall from the early access, the AI are... they do struggle. So we'll see. And where are we at? We're coming up on 2 hours, so I think this tutorial is going to be our last one either way. But that way we can get out in front. If the AI decides to not cooperate, this is going to be our final tutorial anyway. So we're okay. Now I did notice, can you drop straw to make bales? Yes, you can. But I don't necessarily want to do it right now. And the reason is, what I was just about to say was, I've done several of these tutorials twice, I just realized. And I did save when I quit yesterday, so I'm curious now, because in the early access there were some parts of the game where if you saved at the wrong time, or if you didn't save at the right time, okay, turn to the left, then reverse to the right. Okay. If you saved at the wrong time, the game, it would not let you finish your progress. And we are back on auto steering. If you saved at the wrong time, it didn't keep your progress. So I'm curious if we lost our tutorial progress because of when we quit yesterday. So I don't necessarily want to mess with this tutorial and have it kick us back to the beginning again. So it could be that we could make straw right now, but I just want to let it finish as we started. Unless you're asking if you can make straw at all, and the answer is definitely yes. There's a place you can, I think, buy and sell bales as well. And you can make hay. Yeah, it's coming up on, it's 11 a.m. in-game, and it's looking really almost kind of washed out. Like the lighting's getting a little odd. All right. So bring this up here. Same thing, reverse to the point. You got it. Our driver, I don't know if you can see down there at the end of the row. So far. Okay. Oh, here you go. Here is your straw swath. You know, I haven't seen a price on them yet, but it's telling us to switch to swath. I think we need to be, there we go. Okay, close the radio menu. There you go. Look at that, man. there's your straw. I don't know, but I did ask a real farmer earlier whether it's possible to make millions of dollars per year with a grass field. And he said, yeah, no, not at this time. So we'll see how the pricing works out. I have a suspicion that the pricing in this game is going to be brutal, and there's really not going to be a way to adjust it to anything else. I have a feeling it's just going to be a constant challenge to make money. But I'm kind of looking forward to that. Nope, 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 nope. Stop, 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 stop. I don't know why that happened, but we just went on like autopilot, like worker mode, and we did not want that at all. So I think now we need to reopen this. Yep, we need to reopen that. We need to turn it on again, and then we need to lower this again. Okay. And we're okay on steering. All right. Now something else that I noticed about the hired workers in this game is they do cause crop destruction. which is super frustrating for me because they're kind of dumb. So I think when we get down here, we're going to see that this worker has just been driving circles through our field and destroying our wheat. And I would expect the developers, I mean, if they know their AI is kind of busted, that they would make it, that they would turn off crop destruction and not have it damage the crops, have it result in damage to your crops through no fault of your own. Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's a really hard way to make a living. Oh, interesting. Okay, the way that this was popping in, like if you look up top right now, it looks like there are marks in the wheat. The way that this was popping in, I thought that the hired worker was damaging the crop, but they were not. So it could be that they have turned off crop destruction for the AI. That would be a very good thing if they did that, because it was super frustrating. Reverse to the point. It was super frustrating to see the, oh God, to see the AI tearing up your fields and there's no way you can stop them. All right, and I'm waiting for it to turn over, but it's not, oh, it still wants us to back up. This is a little tight back here. All right, there we go. And let's just confirm, yep. So we'll lower this. And we'll roll down to the end here, and that'll be our headland. I think I'm just going to do one headland for now. Well, we'll do whatever the tutorial tells us to do, but I think I would, if I were harvesting this field, I would just do one headland. Yeah, some of the textures, I have to say, are not, you know, maybe not the most immersive. But as I said earlier, I suspect that the purpose of the game is not visual immersion, it's mechanical immersion. And as far as the logistics of farming, I'm really feeling it strongly in this game. Okay, raise the cutter bar. Fold out the cutter bar. Okay, I don't know why we're sliding. Okay. Fold out the cutter bar. It's saying press A. Okay. Drive alongside the trailer. Okay. So we'll bring this back here. Where is our trailer? All right. So we want to go pipe out. And then we're going to be on which side? That's it. All right. Drive alongside the trailer. Yeah, there's no collision on this tree. So we'll just... I got you. We're meant to drop this off. So let's get rid of this. Because the little helper graphic that I saw down there, there was no header on the harvester. So I think we're meant to drop this off. This is not, I mean, I don't know a ton about farming, but I don't think this is how you do it in real life. But whatever. So we're going to drop this here. Oh God. And then drive back down there. You know, it's different for me for every sim. There are some sims I love that really don't have very good graphics. There are other sims that the only reason I play them is because of the graphics. I think it's just all, it all depends on the sim. And then this tree does have collision. Oh, developers. Why you got to mess with my emotions? So we want to go right up here. I'm really perplexed by the sliding there. I mean, we are, the wheels are locked, we're just sliding. Extend the pipe. Yep. I think we're getting to about the end of the episode. All right. Should we put it over the trailer? I mean, it's. I think where we hit that little highlight graphic, I think that may not have been exactly where they needed us to be. Yeah. Like so? Does that feel about right? All right, so we'll set the brake, activate the screw. That's this. Okay. Unload 4,000 liters into the trailer. Well, I mean, I'll unload everything that's in here. Yeah, I suspect that AI is not where it's supposed to be. And that's why we couldn't go where they want us to go. Okay. Now I'm curious what this AI is going to do after we get done unloading. Open the radio menu. Fold the pipe. Close the radio menu. Finish or end the tutorial. I'm going to end it. Yeah, because we're almost exactly at 2 hours. Little Spreckensy right there. Didn't quite get everything translated. Not a big deal. All right, so we'll complete that. 2 tasks to complete the mission. I didn't know. All right, let's see what happens. Next tutorial, grain chaser bin operator. Okay, we'll do that for next time. I'm going to go back to the main menu. And this has been a really good episode. I'm really liking what they've done with this game. I'm definitely enjoying it. So these are the tutorials we're working our way through. We've got 5 of 10 done. So yeah, all we need to work on now is harvesting, grass and hay. Yep, and if we go over to scenarios. Yep, these are the scenarios that we need to get done to be able to buy equipment. So we can do seed to harvest. We've got to do a couple more there and a couple more there. But these are the scenarios that you need to complete to be able to, I guess, start your profile proper. So I'll work on a couple of these off camera and we'll finish up. If there are any that I haven't done, we'll finish those up next episode. And then the episode after that, early part of next week, we'll get into a proper profile and go from there. Sounds good. All right. Thanks, everybody. I do appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for checking out the live stream. I'll see you next time. Take care. Fusion, I think they want to port it to console. I don't know if they will or not, or if they'll be able to, but it's my understanding that they want to. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yep, check out the Discord. I always post when I'm starting in there. I post about 5 minutes before I start, so if you're ever needing a notification, either get it from YouTube or hop in the Discord. All right, thanks, everybody. See ya.